In this video, we will talk about foods that are helpful during Vata season. To recap, Vata is air and space. The qualities of Vata include coldness, dryness, mobility, irregularity, scattered, anxious. So if that's you, or if you experience some of those qualities any time of the year, but especially as the fall and the winter increase, we get more and more into it. One of the things we can do is change the foods that we eat. So in the summer, we might eat a lot of cold foods like raw fruits and veggies all of the time, like salads. Salads are a big one, right? And cold salads, cold drinks, ice cream, things like that. What cold stuff, especially like cold drinks going into your stomach, it kind of disarms or disables our digestion. It makes it very hard for our body to digest what we give it when we put a bunch of ice water or ice cream or and also raw cold vegetables or fruit. That is very hard to digest. It makes it really hard on our system. So in Ayurveda, we call the digestion or the digestive fire, it's called Agni. And you don't have to remember that term, but when we say Agni, we're talking about digestion. And during the fall season, again, we want to bring in opposite qualities. So we don't want to bring in more cold. We don't want a bunch of crackers and chips and cold salads and cold smoothies this time of year. That is not going to do you any favors. None of that food will. So you're going to have to make a choice. You can either keep eating them, and if you're like, oh man, I have all this gas after, and it feels like I'm not digesting my food for hours. I wonder if it has to do with what I'm eating. You know, I had a big cold smoothie for breakfast and a cold salad for lunch, and it's a cold, windy day out. So you need to think about things very practically. You know, just like if you're really hot, if it's the middle of summer and you have a bowl of hot curry or hot chili, and then you go out and sit in the hot sun and then you wonder why you're like snapping and yelling at everyone later on. Well, you totally overdid, the fire element. You introduced so much heat into your system that you're imbalanced now. Okay, but we're in cold season now. So what do we need? We need to look for qualities that are hot or warm, moist rather than dry, right? We don't want cold. We want hot or warm, and we don't want dry. We want moist. We want oil, some oil in there. We want heavy foods as opposed to light foods like a salad. Now, you know your own digestion. I'm not saying go get a bunch of Kentucky Fried Chicken, but something like a stew, it could be vegetarian or have some sort of meat in it, but something that's like root vegetables, it's more dense. It's going to root you down. It's all those like scattered bits of energy of yourself, like when you're just feeling, it's going to soothe that down, and it's going to slow all of that mobility down to have, something warm and something moist, and put a little bit of oil into your system or fat, some like seeds or nuts. So I have this chart, I get these from lifespa.com. You can type in like LifeSpa, grocery list, or winter. He calls it, it's from John Douillard, Dr. John Douillard. Winter grocery list, and it's for November to February. And I link to it on Patreon, Secrets for a Calm Fall. So he says, eat more foods that are sweet, sour, and salty. Now, he doesn't mean, when he says sweet, he means naturally sweet. Like grains are naturally sweet. He's not talking about like a bunch of cookies. Sweet, sour, like fermented foods, yogurt, pickled things, and salty foods. Again, it doesn't mean you have to douse your food with salt, but something like that's fermented will have some salt in it. So he has cooked veggies on here, pumpkin, winter squash, tomatoes, eggplants. A lot of these vegetables have warming qualities. And then he has some oils in here. Fruits, again, a lot of times you want to have things warm or cooked, so maybe in a compote. Meat and fish, eggs, if you eat any of that. If you don't, then, you know, you can have, they really recommend small legumes this time of year because the air, if it's more windy, you know, how is it going to go out and through your digestion? So maybe a lentil or a mung bean, tofu, and then the nuts and seeds, dairy, if you can do dairy or non-dairy substitutes. Anyway, you can get this whole sheet. You can just print it off for free and put it on your fridge. I have all three of these for the three times of year, the Vata time of year and the Kapha time of year and the Pitta time of year. And I just pull the next one out when it's time to remind myself I'm eating less foods this time of year that are spicy, bitter, and astringent, and or cold, light, or dry. So I'm not having salads and smoothies, cold foods and beverages, crackers, chips, and salsa. All that stuff is going to be hard on your digestion. Now, you know, you're in your own digestion. If you just have, you know, the most amazing digestion, maybe you can just burn up a smoothie on a really cold day. See how you feel, you know, you know yourself. So I'm not saying never. You go ahead and you can do whatever you want. It's not like you're forbidden. It's just that if you're already experiencing a lot of Vata symptoms or qualities in your own body or mind, then you want to bring in some opposite qualities, which actually, so the opposite of Vata are the Kapha qualities, the earth qualities. So like more dense and slow and steady and smooth. So those are the qualities that we're looking for. So, and one of the questions he has on this list is, if you're curious about a food not on this list, taste it. If it has 2 or 3 winter tastes, such as sweet, sour, and salty, it is balancing. Prepare it in a way that's moist, oily, heavy, and or warm. Now, for some people, a list like this isn't going to do you any good. There are actually a bunch of spices and herbs on here too. I didn't mention, like cinnamon and ginger, pepper, those warming spices that are great for the fall and winter. But if this is not helpful for you, I will be including recipes. So please join Secrets of a Calm Fall, and you can you'll be able to get some recipes. You can also just search for, on the internet, you can search for Vata friendly recipes or Vata recipes and see what comes up. Okay, I hope this was helpful.